What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down why this route didn't work, episode 2. So we're going to be focusing on a hitch route versus press coverage. So we're going to be talking about some of the things that you guys don't want to do when you're running a hitch route against press coverage, and some of the things that will get you a lot of separation against press coverage, okay, when you're running a hitch route. So we'll be looking at Calvin Ridley first. This is the kind of the example that you don't want to do, and then we're going to be looking at Terry McLaurin for a good example of what you do want to do, okay? But also, fellas, today we're having a 50% off sale on our 28-day speed workout plan. So if you guys want to get faster, improve your 40 time, more explosion, become a better overall athlete, check out that very first link in the description. It's 4 weeks of specific exercises to make you faster. So all explosiveness work, fast twitch work. We give you flexibility routines, dynamic warm-up routines to help with your speed, and also on-field workouts to make you a much faster athlete. So 50% off today only. So check out that very first link in the description. Let's get started with this video. So this rider from Calvin Ridley, again, Calvin Ridley's probably one of the best route runners in the game, right? But this is just something that every single route runner, especially guys even at the top of their game, will give an indicator with their pad level, which allows this DB to slow down, right? Now, by no means am I trying to critique this dude, because obviously I'm just going to flat out say it. He's a whole lot better of a receiver than I ever was because he's in the league, right? So that's just, I first want to start off by saying that. It's just there's little things that as a high school receiver you can learn, or as even a college guy. Some college guys I know watch this, youth guys, at a receiver at any level, regardless of what level you're at, you can learn from this, right? And I guarantee you'd be the first one to say this. When I come up here on a hitch route, the whole goal is what? To get this DB to turn his hips, to get this DB to believe that it's a fade, to get this DB to turn his hips and run, and then we snap it off and we give him that just violent change of direction. Right now, right before the break, especially against a good DB, if I start to raise my pad level up, and you see how he starts to kind of slow down, then he starts to get into this break, right? And that little raise of your pad level is everything for this DB, because he's starting not to believe that it's a fade, right? I come off here. If he would have kept this same pad level and kept that same speed right into the break, that's what will move this DB off that platform. That's what will get him out of there. That's what will get him to turn and run, and then we can just snap this thing off right now. But because he kind of raises up right here and he starts to slow down, lean back, when he snaps down, he doesn't really bring his chin to his knee. There's not a violent change of direction. And that violent change of direction, that like violent snap down, is what shoots this guy by. But as soon as this DB starts to feel your speed change, as soon as he starts to see that you're raising your pad level, because what's he supposed to be looking at? He's supposed to be looking at your hips. So if he starts to see you come up from this position and start to pop your chest up, slow yourself down, start to prepare for the break, that's when he sits on this thing, right? And that goes for anything. That goes for a comeback route. That goes for just a stop route, maybe a little bit deeper than this hitch. That goes for like a diamond release slant. It goes for any single route against man coverage. You don't want to give that indicator with your pad level so he could just sit on this thing and be able to make a play, right? And he's all over this. There's not enough separation. That's more so on Ridley, I would say. So it's got to be, as a receiver, you got to make sure that you're pushing vertical. You got to make sure that you're running off this thing to turn your hips, get him to run, and then we snap this thing off. The only way you're able to change direction going full speed efficiently is by being violent with your hips, right? But if I'm soft with my hips and I come into this thing and you see how when he makes this break, he kind of drifts upfield a little bit, that's because he's running hard, but then he slows down and his hips aren't violent, right? That's what causes a drift. That's what will make you drift right up into this DB. Now, when we take a look at this rider from Terry McLaurin, you don't see that. You see that he just stops right on a dime, okay? So let's watch the thing again, full speed. So again, Ridley, if he would have just kept that same speed, got that DB to turn, he would have been okay. But that slight little change in pad level, that slight little change in speed is what will kill you guys. So you guys got to understand every single route, man. You got to have no indicators on the route. You really got to push vertical. Your goal has to be to make that DB believe fade, and you got to make him move off of that block, okay? So now let's look at this rider from Terry McLaurin. So you see how he comes off here? He gets a little stutter, just like the last clip, and then he's able to just snap this thing off right away and get out. So again, this is a perfect example of that, what that good pad level, again, we're in 5-yard range, right? So that's the thing that a lot of people ask me, like, hey, how do I get separation on a hitch route? You're only in 5 yards. It's the same thing as like a slant, same thing as like maybe just like a quick 5-yard out. You got to sell vertical for as long as you possibly can, and you got to try to move that DB off, and that comes from body language and speed, right? You're not 15 yards down the field. He's not like, necessarily like, oh, he's at 15, okay, he's for sure not running a route, or he's at 25 yards, he's for sure going vertical, so he's going to turn his hips. You have 5 yards to work this space, right? So you got to make sure that you make this guy move within that 5 yards. You got to push to the outside. You got to attack the outside. That's what gets this dude to move, and then that's when we can snap this thing off, right? So when I come off here, I give just a full speed burst. Off that line, it's got to be a full speed burst, because that's what gets him to overreact, right? He's not turning his hips at a certain point. He's not staying square with you until 5 yards, because if he stays square with you on 5 yards, then we're just going to run right by him, right? So we got to make sure that I push vertical. I'm selling with my pad level. I'm selling with everything, and then bam, you see how sudden that change of direction is. It's right in stride. There's no change of stride right here. That's what's going to get you as much separation as possible. If you guys change up your stride, you guys start to chop down, you start to raise your pad level, you change your speed right before the break, I'm sitting sitting on that. A good DB sitting on that. A bad DB, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But if I got a good defensive back lined up across from me every single play, understands man coverage, understands how to read me, understands how to read my hips, and I don't push vertical and I don't try to move him off of this block, I'm not going to get any separation. So you really got to push vertical. You really got to be focused on moving him off this platform, snapping this thing off, and then being able to get some separation. So we got to attack, really push vertical to the outside, and be sudden with that change of direction, okay? I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but so many guys don't do this. So many guys don't have that sudden drop with their hips. They think they do. They like to think that they're violent with their hips. They like to think that they're snapping down, but what they'll do is they'll just slow down. And then they're like, oh, well, coach, I can get out of this in 2 steps. I get out of it in 1 step. A hitch route, you can. No, without a doubt, you can, because it's only within 5 yards. But are you actually selling vertical? Are you actually moving this guy off the platform? And if the answer is no, then there's no point in eliminating steps at the top. You get so many coaches who would just sit there and be like, he took too many steps. Oh, you got to take out the steps. And you get all the people who sit back and watch and just go, oh, well, he needs to take less steps on the route. But you don't understand how hard it is to be able to actually sell vertical, drop your hips, and take the least amount of steps possible. And so what guys will start doing is they'll start slowing down because they're so caught up in steps, or they'll start slowing down because they're so caught up in just stopping right on this block right here. You guys got to get comfortable running full speed, putting the brakes on, and using your hips to be the thing that slows you down, not that change in speed, okay? So there's a perfect hitch route example here from Terry McLaurin against press. Attack to the outside, push outside with speed, be violent with your hips. That's the only way you can slow down when running full speed. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So he comes off here running full speed, snaps this thing off. Great job using a throw-by technique as well, catching this thing. Then let's get back up field. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all on any of this or any recommendations on any future videos, I'd really appreciate that. Leave those in the comments. And again, 50% off sale, our 28-day speed gym workout plan. It's a specific program, on-field exercises in the gym, 4-week program, and specific dynamic warm-up routines to help with your speed, help with speed development, be more explosive, more powerful, improve your 40 time. Check out that very first link in the description, fellas. Hope we get you guys on that soon. Again, 50% off today only. I'll see you guys next time.